welcome to episode 4 in a series of walking guides for the highest mountains in Scotland. In today's video, there's going to be a little bit of this, a lot of this, and some of this. As always, I'll walk us through the route on OS Maps, and links are included in the description below to both the route that I walked today and also normal, easier route. And then that'll be followed with commentary and time lapse of the actual walk. There are two car parks at Bridge of Orchy, a small car park at the train station and a larger car park next to the Bridge of Orchy hotel. Both are free, but there are no public toilets. Starting from the train station, you go under the railway track using the underpath and through a gate. Turn left across the road and head up towards the tree ahead. Heads fairly straight all the way up to the Bealach. Normally this path is very wet and in some places quite boggy. On today's walk, everything was frozen solid. As you get closer to the Bealach, the going gets a bit steeper, but the path is easy to follow. Once you reach the Bealach, there is a large cairn. You can choose to go either right to Beinn Dòrain or left to Dòthaidh. Today I'm going to do Beinn Dòrain first. I find it easier to keep to the right and then work my way up a fairly steep section with large patches of rock. You then go a little to the left and then to the right. Now we'll go straight ahead and up a short steep section. It's at this point that you can either follow the main path and miss out on some of the best views, or you can take the lesser used path to the right. Having taken the path to the right, you walk along the side of the mountain and eventually walk under the summit and curve back around and up onto the summit. Originally I was going to go back over the ridge path, but on my way back I could see my own tracks from the path I had set off on earlier, and I crossed back down to join that path, and this avoided having to go up and over one of the tops. When you get back to the Bealach, I followed the path for around about 50 metres and then kept to the left and walked up on the ridge, taking care not to get too close to the cliff tops. The main path here gets extremely wet and boggy in the summer, and it was like an ice rink in parts, so I just kept to the left and avoided all of the ice. You also get better views when you're going up the edge here. Keep making your way up to the highest point and then follow the terrain around to the right, taking the long way so to avoid losing any altitude, and this takes us to the summit of Beinn Dòrain. The safest way back to the train station is to return to the Bealach via the main path. I chose to go a more direct route, and it's an easy walk up to this point. It definitely looks a lot worse than it is when you look over the top here and down the slope. There's a bit of zigzagging. Once at the bottom of the steep section, I headed back over to the main path, and then it's straight back down to the train station. Once again, I checked the weather using the Mountain Weather Information Service. A link is included in the description below. And here we have the weather report for the West Highlands. Today's report showed that there was going to be some wind, a good chance of clear skies, and it looks like it's going to be very cold, so I did wrap up well for the walk. The total distance for today's walk is 13.5 kilometres with a total ascent of 1200 metres, and the walking time is around 6 hours. Good morning, I'm at the Bridge of Orchy car park, going to do Beinn Dòrain and Beinn. It's about -1 degree Celsius. Just as you leave the train station, you'll join the West Highland Way for about 50 metres. You then cross over this road and go up this gravel path round by that tree. The route then takes you right up to the Bealach, you can see up there, and from there you go up round to the right. The very top is up there for Beinn Dòrain. Come back down the same route, then go up to the left and do Beinn Dòrain. 8:10 in the morning. All the ground is frozen. morning for a walk. So we crossed part of that stream, so you could fill up now. I have once crossed up there and went right up that slope. Got some really good photographs, but I wouldn't recommend it. It was a lot harder than the path. You can come back down that way as well. That's not so hard. So we're getting near the steeper uphill section. It's not as bad as it looks. There's no scrambling, rock climbing. Today I've got my crampons because of the ice, but I've not brought ice axes. There's nothing that I would think is steep enough for that. We're going to go here. We're going to go zigzag and underneath that rock and up like there and over. Some lovely colours in the mountains. Almost at the Bealach. Don't know, is that 100 metres or so? It's nice and calm here. We're out of the wind at this point. You can see the ice, sheets and sheets of ice. Just having to keep to the edges, keeping the grass. It is an amazing morning. Made it to the Bealach. Beinn Dòrain is up there. And Beinn Dòrain is up and along there. over that way, cloud is coming in over that way. You're going to come to this point, it's just at the top of a steep incline, and you'll see, even in the snow, you can see that there are two paths ahead. One goes off to the right and the other one goes off to the left. Most people will go up the one to the left. I would recommend taking the one to the right. When you go along the right, you walk along the side of the mountain. It's not particularly steep, but it's not difficult. There are some rocks you have to sort of step over, but nothing challenging. And you're on the edge of the mountain, so you get a much better view from over the edge and down the side of the mountain and across to the other side. If you walk along the top, I would come back that way, if you walk along the ridge, you can't see as much because it's quite a wide ridge, and so it's not as good a view. So I'm going to go to the right, and that's the route that is marked on the map, and I'll show it in a screenshot of that. Having said that, we're not getting much view of anything today. Just clouds and snow. I don't know if you'll be able to make it out very well. We're walking along this ledge, so it makes you feel like you're really high up with that edge just there. And you just walk along here. It's a fairly level walk. It gets a little bit higher, gains a little bit of altitude, and curves round below the summit and then comes up behind it. It's clearing up almost, but not quite. We might get lucky. It's clearing up a little bit. I don't know how well it'll come out. Pathfinding is more tricky. Not many people have come along this way. I don't think anybody's done it this morning. This is my favourite section of the walk. Even when visibility isn't great, you can still see down there. A little bit of blue sky coming through, sun over here. And you're a little bit off the top, so you get more protection from the wind at this point. Once I curve round and get up to the top, I expect it'll be quite windy. Weather report said minus 12 degrees in the wind, but here it's lovely and calm. Along to that edge, you can see sunlight round there and up and round to the So here I am at the summit of Beinn Dòrain. It's not too windy, and with that sun it's actually quite warm. It's spectacular. You might notice at this point that I'm keeping well to the right of the main path. It's usually easier to go downhill on fresh snow. There's less ice, the snow absorbs your footprint, and it's just easier to walk down on this part. When you're on the main path, there's rocks and there's hard ice, and you've got to pick your footsteps a lot more carefully. You can slip when you do it this way. You can also go up to your knees or your waist in snow if there's a pocket, but that's why I have the walking poles. They help to guide you for the depth. Popular walk, this one. See, there's a few groups coming up. Somebody up there. Top's way up there. I'm not sure how I'm going to approach this. If you're doing this in the summer or even when there's no frost, then it's usually best to go up. Let's see, get my finger of view. Go up here a wee bit and then go up to the left, and just go up the ridge to the left. The path that goes up the middle, it gets really boggy, really wet. It's a slog. So if you go up to the left, it's drier, and then you can walk around the ridge at the top. It's quite a nice, easy walk. So we'll see what it looks like on the way up. If it's not too bad because it's frozen and there's good steps, then I'll probably go directly to the top and then walk back along the ridge and probably go down this ridge here, go down off the edge. There's no path for that, but you just make your way down the sort of least steep part back to the main path. Beinn Dòrain is over there. The main path up this one goes there. You can see somebody coming down just there. I've decided to take the summer route, go up the main ridge here. There was so much ice in that path. You had to keep going over, around the side of the ice. I was like, I'll go the easy way. You also get a better view because you're on the edge again. You're not walking up the middle of the mountain where you can't see very much. So I'm going to go up here. If you do come this way, just be careful of the edge. One slip and you're going to have a real bad day. It's 12:20, been going for 4 hours and 10 minutes. Thought this was a nice spot to have lunch. Can't complain about the view. So that's me come up that steep section. You don't quite need to go to the top, which is just there. You can cut the corner a little bit. I'm going to head round to where that top is. So we don't want to lose any more height, we just want to go to a straight level line. And then the top's over there. Somebody's already up there. There's not much of a care in this one. There's another top over there. I don't think that's the top. Just approaching the summit of Beinn Dòrain. Lovely blue sky. Beinn Dòrain over there. Here we're at the summit of Beinn Dòrain. The wind's died down. I think that's Beinn Nevis over there. I should get my compass out and then get a bit sure, but looks like it. Ranachmere. The snow really brings out the definition in the mountains. It looks spectacular. You can see a path going down there to the left, summertime route. I'm going to go straight over and straight down. It should be nice and quiet. It's just amazing how calm it is now. That wind from earlier is gone. Perfect day out. definitely need to get to the right part of this slope. I wouldn't go down here, it's too steep. We're going to go a bit further around to the left and then it should be okay. But yeah, if you're not sure, just take the path. It's a lot simpler. So this looks about the right spot to go down. Maybe slightly to the left of it, but I'm going to pretty much go straight down. You've got to keep an eye out when you're going down. There's a fence that runs up the side of that river up there. So you need to keep to the left of that and go around the top of that fence. So you can't go too far down before turning left and joining the main path. Zigzag. Careful for rocks under the snow because you almost down. Trying to avoid these rocks as much as possible. Using the poles to feel for rocks before you put your feet down, because when you stand on a rock with snow in it, you just slip. In the dry they're great, but not in these conditions. So I'm going to cross the rocks down there. I think you can see a way down and then back across to the path. So I'm back on the path. The hardest part of that was the bottom, because all of the ground was frozen. The snow higher up was insulating the ground and the water, so it wasn't frozen underneath. But down here where there's no snow, it's all frozen. It's uncomfortable to walk on because your feet keep getting pushed around. Rather than the ground deforming to your feet are having to work around it. Like I say, back on the path, it's probably going to be harder to walk down this bit than it was that whole hillside. Maybe half an hour, 20 minutes back to the car park. So that's me back at the Bridge of Orchy car park. An amazing day to be on the mountain. Glorious sights. It's 2:40 in the afternoon. Total walking time was 6.5 hours. If you like this video and you want to see more, please click like and please subscribe. Thank you.